Game number 60 for the Boston Celtics, back from the All-Star break to take on the Detroit Pistons. Josue Pavone here for CLNS Media. I'm joined by Lazarus Jackson, editor of SB Nation's Detroit Bad Boys, and he's also the host of the DBB podcast. And he's hyped up about this matchup, isn't that right?
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You know, it was a nice break, but now we're back into action here. I mean, we got Blake Griffin in another uniform. We're seeing him up against the Celtics once again this season. And I know he's only played 8 games for the Pistons, averaging 23 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I get it. It's a small sample size for a team that's striving to not only make the playoffs, but to also make some noise while doing it. But in your opinion, how has Griffin changed the makeup of this team, and how does he help them reach their goals?
I think the biggest thing with Blake Griffin is that he gives the Pistons a legitimate crunch time option. He's a guy who can post up 15 feet from the rim, say get a bucket, and he can do it. He's a guy that can draw fouls and get free throws. That's something the Pistons have really struggled with as of late. And if you really need him to, he's a guy who can shoot threes. And so I think having a guy who can score at all 3 levels like that has been really, really vital for the Pistons so far this year.
Reggie Jackson has been clear for light running and shooting. He's making his way back from an ankle injury. And how will that change things for Detroit when he makes his comeback?
I think the biggest thing is that it will give the Pistons a starting point guard who can shoot. Reggie Jackson is a fairly decent 3-point shooter, but at the same time, his replacement is Smith. Not only does he not take threes, he's not guarded by the other team out there on the perimeter, and so what that does is it constricts the offense and generally, tightens up the defense so that it makes it more difficult for the Pistons to score. I think replacing Ish with a guy who can shoot and Reggie will be a big help to the team when he comes back.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is brought to you by DraftKings.com. Head over to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for a free sign-up with your first deposit and a shot at a share of $10,000 in total prizes. That's DraftKings.com. Use the promo code CLNS and get paid. After 11 straight games, Marcus Smart will make his return to the Celtics lineup tonight. Throughout his absence has been an ongoing debate throughout Boston about the value of Marcus Smart for the Celtics, and I would love to hear an outsider's perspective on this one. How meaningful is Marcus Smart to the Celtics team? And should the Celtics be worried about his temper moving forward, which of course got the best of him when he punched a picture frame and almost was heading towards a season-ending surgery?
So the thing with Marcus Smart, I think, is that he's better defensively than offensively, but for whatever reason, the Celtics seem to really score well when he's on the court, not necessarily of anything having to do with his skill set or his own offensive skill level, but just like a fluke of statistics. I think you've seen guys succeed or fail out of the Brad Stevens cocoon, guys like Evan Turner and Jay Crowder. I struggle to think of like what Marcus Smart would look like on a different team, like how he would play, how he'd be utilized. I think he's a valuable player for the Celtics, but going forward, I'm not sure that they will want to hold on to him. As for tomorrow, though, I think he'll be. I had a game earlier this year where he went 6 for 8 from 3. I think you have to watch him definitely coming back off that injury.
So far this season, it's been a 1-game split between these two teams, but of course the Pistons look much different this time around. How does the addition of Blake Griffin give Detroit a better shot at knocking off the Celtics tonight?
The thing that has really been in the Pistons' advantage is they've been able to win the battle on the glass against the Celtics. Having a guy like Blake Griffin next to a guy like Andre Drummond forces Brad Stevens, I think, to go utilize lineups that are outside of his comfort zone. You have to play Baines more. You have to play Horford at the 4 more. You have to utilize Horford to guard Blake. And so Andre is kind of freed up on the offensive glass, and he gets to eat. And so I think that chess match, that, will we see lineups with like Semi Ojeleye at center, or like can Daniel Tice handle minutes where Blake plays backup center? Like, I'll be interested to see how that dichotomy goes.
All right, prediction time, Lazarus. Who wins tonight?
I think after the long break, I have to go with the Celtics. That's a long rest. The Pistons just had 2 back-to-back practices. They're still trying to get some kinks worked out in the offense with Blake Griffin. The Celtics are a really good team. They're really well coached. As much as it pains me to say it, I think they take it tomorrow or tonight.
All right, he is Lazarus Jackson of SB Nation's Detroit Bad Boys. You can check out his podcast by following him on Twitter. He's on Twitter at LazChance. That's L-A-Z Chance on Twitter. So give him a follow. And he just made his debut on the Celtics pregame report. Hey, Lazarus, I appreciate you checking in, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. on the pod sometime.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Make sure you check out the Celtics postgame show on clnsmedia.com. You can call in toll free at 347-215-7771 after the game to get on the air. Or just like this show, you can listen to it on demand on the CLNS Media mobile app. Weekday shows air on the Celtics Newsfeed channel on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Josue Pavone, this is Josue Pavone signing off.